I will make my stances clear on my thoughts on this whole thing going on with Diddy and shit like that. So now the lines are getting blurred. I think that so Angry Man had a really passionate take about this, and I understand where he was coming from. And I think that now I haven't heard that many people's takes on this whole thing with Diddy and Cassie. So if you guys don't know, last year there was some footage from 2016 that leaked with Diddy viciously assaulting Cassie in a hotel. It was back in 2016. So in that regard, I strongly feel as though yes, he should be brought to justice for that. But in terms of what this trial is about, in terms of how it's been explained to the public, and I think that to a certain degree, you got to cut people a little bit of slack in terms of understanding what the hell is going on. Because it seems, so being as though we don't just have legacy media to explain things, people are free to theorize and explain, and express their theories online. So yeah, sometimes things can get a little murky. You know what I mean? But overall, yeah, I do think that he should be brought to justice for that. But this case was supposed to be about. It was supposed to be a RICO. RICO was mostly for like crime rings. Do you know what? You understand? This is for like this is some kingpin shit. But you know what I realized? I don't know what sex trafficking means. I am not clear on what that means. When I think about sex trafficking, I always think about the movie Taken. I think if you ask most people what sex trafficking is, they always imagine the movie Taken. Like, hey, some girls are having fun, they go backpacking and they just meet the wrong people, and then boom, they get kidnapped and thrown into prostitution, sex trafficking. Apparently, it's anytime. I don't know. I don't know. But anywho, yeah. So let's go ahead and play this clip from Anton Daniel. Shout out to Anton. Shout out to Ton Dog, and let's get it.
Fact that extreme feminism puts women in danger because it sacrifices their safety in order to prove a point that can't be proven. So if you want to go back and find that video and watch it, you can. But another thing that I want to point out is a lot of these people who are attacking people like myself and others who point out that, hey, Cassie has to be held accountable for some of her choices. She chose to do some of those things and she was not under duress, okay? We get attacked, okay? But a lot of those people, they don't really care about Cassie's well-being. They just want to prove a point.
She's cooking right now. I wanted to add to that too. Um, the point that I want to make is this. Now, and I've been talking to a lot of people about this, about how we need to accept who who people are. If someone's a bad person, it's something about with women, right? People have a hard time saying a woman is a bad person. Like I feel like up until when I started watching Kevin Samuels, like I've never heard conversations about what is the quality of the motherhood or the child or the parenting from black mothers in America, and and what can it be critiqued on? Now, one of the reasons why that's offensive, just a little side note, it's only why it's offensive because it is the culture of niggas, which comes from single motherhood, that stops you from leveling up and basically doing the things that need to happen in order for progress to happen. So, for example, right, in my personal life, I decided to close my first business and do this because I knew that I could once I got this going, and also I was made for this shit. I'm just saying. Just saying, I was, you got it. You know what I mean? When you see me, like you see me, right? I was made for this. All right. And one more thing too, I'm gonna say before I get back to my point. I'm not like you other podcast ninjas. You other content ninjas. I'm different. I could do anything. All right. I feel like Big Pun in his prime. Like, what you want to do? Nigga, I am a master of communication. Now, you understand? I could tell jokes. I could tell stories. I could be master at ceremonies. Like, nigga, I could host anything you have going on in your life. I come host that shit. Somebody died in your family, I'm there. Knowing exactly what to say. I'm rubbing backs. I'm rubbing backs at the funeral. You understand? And your boy look a little more swole too. You understand? I'm looking stout. My dad said I look stout the other day. I don't know what that means. But anyway, but going back to what I was saying about we can accept when a man is weak. We can accept when a man is ugly. We can accept if a man is a bad father or a husband. We can accept if a man could do better, right? But when it comes to women, I don't know where this comes from, and we can talk about that later. But people have a hard time saying that's what that person, that's what they're on, that's what they made for. Like perfect example, like the concept of a lot of men don't understand that the women who are in the strip club, they're not there because someone made them be there. They are there because that is the work that they can do. That has sex work has always been the work of the dysfunctional. The same way, most criminals, sometimes they can be really intelligent, have other talents and stuff, and other qualities and stuff like that. But most of the time, it's a series of bad decisions that lands them, that gets them to the point where either they are no longer alive or they are actually extracted from society. Like you were so terrible that you had to be extracted like a tooth. You were a bad tooth. You're a bad apple. These bad apples there. But anyway, I want to comment on that because I felt like that's a part of this whole thing. I mean, if you think about even um, her character, and from the beginning, right? Even the story with Ryan Leslie. If it wasn't for Ryan Leslie, she would never even been able to be around Diddy, right? And I talked about before how women will in their 20s, women will either, well, pretty much again, give their best years to the worst guy possible. And the reason why that happens, and to a certain degree, they just kind of deserve it because you've picked this guy, but because of selfish, superficial reasons. Whenever and and for modern women, most average women will choose a guy that's fun or a guy that's not really about shit because if he's not about shit, then no progress can happen and that's more comfortable. Really think about this. Black women, for the most part, are most attracted to guys that don't have a future. Or most importantly, and when I say future, I'm talking about future in terms of wanting to become a man and be seen as a man. Black women, for the most part, modern women, for the most part, have gotten to where they are attracted to masculine men, but psychologically, you know what I mean, it gives them anxiety because it makes them nervous, makes them feel weird because they feel as though feminism teaches women that you're supposed to control the males around you through like manipulative means, not making deals, not doing what's fair. Like you need to try to make them do what you want them to do by manipulative means. You know, I realized the other day, like today, where I seen this young girl. I think she might have been mulatto. I don't know, but I think I kind of made eye contact with her, right? But her whole vibe was like she's like one of those girls that doesn't really seem like to like kind of stand up straight. I don't know if that's like a whole tall thing because she was kind of tall, but she wasn't like really tall. So maybe that's a tall thing. I don't know, but I feel like you see this kind of like girl more so in the suburbs, and a lot of times like mulatto girls have this kind of vibe of I don't know, like, as if like they're afraid and scared. You know what I mean? And like if you like come near them or come around them, like you can be paying them no mind, but they just have like this scared look on their face. And I kind of realized, okay, you know what? That's that's like nature. That's like somebody using like camouflage. In real talk, a lot of men don't realize that women do shit like that so that you won't expect it when they're doing something evil because they know that it's harder for you to perceive that she's being evil right now if you perceive her as a really nice person or really meek or really soft or really innocent. Modern women that have not realized that you have indoctrinated yourselves into a culture that's not based on off of anything fruitful or fair or actually good. Everything that y'all uphold and y'all talk about, like all of it is like bad for like everyone. It makes it's like and it's mostly about it's being short sighted. You know what I mean? Just not really seeing the full picture. And going back to what I was saying about Cassie and Ryan Leslie, Ryan Leslie helped produce some of those records that got her to the point where she met Diddy. But Ryan Leslie, and that's how it works out for a lot of women, yo, for the most part. Ryan Leslie might not have been as rich as Diddy, but together, right, she may have could have had a really great career. because they could have collaborated and her music would have maybe got better and better and better, and she would have got the way she was trying to get to. But because she thought that all right, well, my heart, I'm doing hypergamy, I'm doing hypergamy. All right, I got a chance to get with Diddy, so I'm going to be with Diddy. And with Diddy, even though he had more money and more resources with him, you're just Cassie. And I truly believe that I talked about this yesterday. She was in there. She's in there about to pop. She's super duper pregnant. And the thing that we that I'm sorry, the thing that comes to mind between him and her was the physical abuse. So I'm like, all right, where's the charge for that? Or why aren't y'all in court for that? Why is she here at this trial? I know why she's here. The idea is to help to keep painting this picture of him being, I guess it's, this the diddler. I ain't gonna front. I mean, listen, Diddy always been shady. I mean, I'm not really here to defend Diddy. I more so wanted to talk about how women don't let shit go. All right, and anyway, let's go let her get back to it. I'm sorry, y'all.
They just want to be right. If they really cared about Cassie's well-being, they would be speaking on something that she needs to prepare for, but they're not. But I actually do care about humanity, so I'm going to give her some game that y'all need to be giving her if y'all gave a fuck about her. Cassie needs to prepare for the possibility of Alex leaving her, okay? Y'all can sit around and y'all can listen to these women online cackling, talking about, yeah, Alex a strong man, he a good man, he's securing his manhood, and that's why he gonna stay with her. Okay, even with all of that being said, there is only so much ridicule a man can take. Okay?
That's a fact. I don't even know where the argument is. I think that women want men to be Captain Save them because it actually reflects their own circumstance. Their own bad decisions on a regular basis of choosing the wrong man, having children out of wedlock, getting involved with people that they shouldn't have been involved in, and then being saved, knowing that that's not something that they would ever in life tell their sons to do. You would never tell your son to go and put himself in a situation where he's being cheated on after getting into a situation where he knew that she was out here being crazy and promiscuous. And I talked to people that was in the courtroom and they said that he was cringing, but then he was trying to stare at Diddy like it was a big problem. The reality is that we aren't wired like that. And I think that he could quite possibly be the biggest simp or homosexual, meaning that he's coming up off of her, or he's just a really, really big simp. And we are not wired that way. We're not wired to take that level of criticism and ridicule and be embarrassed. And everywhere you go, everybody know that you a cuck. We not built like that. Even people that subjects themselves to that lifestyle sexually, right? They are not built for the public criticism, even if they do certain things in private. And he will always be embarrassed. He will always be known as a guy that took second servings. He will always be known as a guy that's finishing another man saved game. And that's just it. But the women keep trying to make
Oh
it.
damn, this another man saved game. God damn, man, son, you rapping? They not. Nah, he wrote that shit down. He got the AI script going. He way too clean with these drones. He was landing them haymakers. Go ahead, Anton.
Seem like he a strong man, but no woman would ever want to be involved with a man like that unless they was taking advantage of him. That's just the facts.
And their egos, they're different from us, okay? Their pride means a lot more to them than it does women oftentimes. You get what I'm saying? So this man's pride is.
And this right here, this is how I know we lost. I've gone through so many different aspects of my human revolution, and I had to really. All right, I'll put it like this. I heard like when I came back to my job, I heard this in training, and what the trainer was saying was, do not think about what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. Do not question these laws and rules we're about to teach you. All right. If you question it, it's going to make you upset, and it's going to be really confusing to you, right? If you keep thinking about it too much, right? And with men and women, it's really hard for men to understand how women think and see it from their perspective. All right. But it'll bring you peace once you can accept it. One of the first things you gotta accept is the parallels between how children think and how women think. And Crimson Cure always breaks this down. He talks about how women need to be that way in order to be able to tolerate children, be around children, you know what I mean, and do child rearing, right? So women never lose a lot of their childlike ways, you know what I mean? But what makes her into a woman is being with a man. Because a few different things. For one, he's providing leadership and logic, and she doesn't have to deal with that on her own. Also, she gets to inherit his will. So if he's smart and makes good decisions, she's going to pick up on that. She's going to be able to carry that because she's learning. The same way, like, you can always see it when a woman's around a guy who make money, or a guy who can, who's about his money. A lot of times, those are the women who are the most likely to be able to actually start a successful business if they were around a guy. A lot of times, they learn how to be mobile and learn how to get money from being around a guy. All right. Whatever. He in there tripping. So, also, all right. So anyway, so my bad. So I want to also speak on what she was saying. Listen, my son here, so you know how my son said. Anyway, so I also wanted to speak to what she was saying about let me close a few things out. Close that out. I got some windows open. I see the signal coming down. Relax, yo, relax. What was that? All right. Rubber coat. Anyway, now, so my bad. I wanted to also speak to what Anton said about why he's there. I said before. That nigga a trainer. First of all, I'm gonna tell you something. First of all, most men who are really attractive, especially men who are like really like working out and stuff like that, they do. I'm not saying they think like women necessarily, but they will look for a come up. Make no mistake, that was always a part of the whole scheme. And who's to say that that he wasn't the one who put her up to it or made sure that she got paid? That's that nigga retirement plan. But more than likely, he probably didn't know all that shit. Now I think that he might have had an idea that she did some wild stuff, but he probably didn't know that it was to that extent, right? And this is why I always say men will always pay for trying to come up off of a woman. Fellas, that can never be your plan. You will always fail like that. And you'll always have to pay. Shout out to CGA. Men always pay. Even when it seems free, you're going to pay one way or the other, whether it's in stress, whether it's in heartbreak, whether it's in inconvenience, whether it's in, action, being attacked, whatever it is, whether it's money, whatever, you're going to pay, especially with women. Always a price. So he got some choices to make, but on the flip side, he has put himself in quite a favorable position. He can leave her. Whatever money that she got from that, he can get at least probably $2 or $3 million. I'm gonna let Anton keep cooking.
It's hurt. I don't care what y'all say. That man's pride is very hurt after